Hey, what's up? This is Jonny McBee, and you're listening to the Burn This World podcast. Become a member today. Head over to burnthisworld.com and click the Become a Member button. That membership helps support me doing the Burn This World podcast full time, and it also helps me as a full-time musician. You get a lot of exclusive content on there, not only for the podcast, but also on my music side. So you hear Browning music before it's released. You hear music that never got put on records. You also hear stuff for other projects that I'm working on. You get entered into giveaways every single month for merchandise. And like right now, I'm giving away a stage banner that I took all over the world with the Browning. So you get all sorts of cool stuff, and it really does help support. It's only $3, but that $3 goes a heck of a long way collectively. So again, burnthisworld.com, click Become a Member for $3 a month or $30 for an entire year, and help support everything that we're doing at the Burn This World podcast and that I'm doing as a full-time musician. I appreciate you. So I'm here with Ohrion. How you doing today, dude?
Hello, how's it going? I'm doing fine, thank you. Thanks for having me on this show today and being your first visuals
Look at that.
for your podcast.
Well, I had to make sure it was with someone that looked good, you know?
Oh, thanks. I mean, there's way better looking people than me. But
Well, I wasn't about to have Keem as my first one, that's for sure. Not happening.
I mean, he's a good looking dude.
Yeah, true. So yeah, I gotta ask about it. The bled. Do you really like the bled that much, or you just like is that just your thing?
Am I just milking it?
Yeah.
No, honestly, I love it. It's kind of become my my brand at the same time. But yeah, the story is with this is, I mean, it goes with my name, Ohrion. So the O is like for those O's in the middle of the before a breakdown, and then Ryan is my actual name. So Ohrion, and then I love space and shit. So like the Orion spell just kind of goes hand in hand. Yeah, I can go down those kind of rabbit holes if needed. But yeah, my girlfriend actually loves the word blech, so she actually introduced me to Wage War, and it was the river that she kind of showed me, and the song Low. And had a wicked blech in it. And ever since that, we just kind of like started throwing songs at each other saying, hey, check this one out. Hey, I found this one. And we just kind of started finding that. So when I started doing reactions, we just kind of made it a thing. So I started off with like the Monday blechs instead of like the Monday blues. Like it's just kind of rolled through with that. And ever since that, it's like we built a huge community around it, the merch around it, and yeah, it just kind of took off from there. So absolutely love it, to answer your question.
I think you're baiting it. You're baiting it. I don't believe it.
It works. I mean, it's great. I mean, I can have a Chris Motionless song come on and be like, yo, blackened.
Right.
It goes
I mean,
nuts.
so I mean, there always been things in the metal scene of like different sounds that people do that get popular. Why like the O is always infamous 100%, but like why the bled? I guess it's the only one that's like a high pitch version of like an O. Like why do you think it works? Because it's weird.
I think why like we just use the word black because it's kind of like that symbol word for it, because like some people even consider I mean I don't consider it, but it's like the cousin of the black. Like it's like that word that you throw in before a breakdown, like that or like or an O or something like that. So it's like I guess it's like labeled the blech, and I guess like Sam Carter obviously kind of like brought that to light with the architects and that.
I heard that he like wishes that he didn't. Like I think I saw an interview where he's like, I wish people would stop mentioning it.
Yeah, I actually I did see that as well, and kind of made like a small video about it, and it kind of sucks obviously, but then I started watching another interview with shout out to Nate and Jonny, the Breakdown brothers that do videos, but they had Sam Carter on for an interview as well, and he was kind of talking about the interview, or sorry, the blech, and he actually like took it away from the fans for a while, because like when he released the album after Holy Hell, like everybody obviously wanted the blech and stuff, but you know, no one was really appreciating the rest of the song, so he just kind of became the name of blech.
Yeah.
So he just kind of took it away from everybody, but which I thought was hilarious.
Yeah.
And then you know, two albums after, he comes back out with the blech, and people are like, oh, it's on like the poppiest song on the album.
Was it?
I was hyped. Obviously, I had to jump on that and see it for myself. But
yeah,
pretty cool album.
it would be weird, like, coming from, like, a standpoint of being a musician, it already is kind of like, I don't wanna say annoying, but it's kind of like you feel pestered at sometimes about people asking about old music or, "Oh, the best thing you've ever done was this song you wrote 12 years ago." Like,
Mm.
everything between now and then has not been as good as that, and it makes you feel kinda like, "Oh, well, I don't know, that's kinda it's cool, but also kinda like I'm working really hard still," you know? And so for
Yeah.
him, he's probably like, "People only want to hear me do this when I'm one of the best singers in metalcore," you know?
Right.
And so,
No,
like,
I
that I feel like that could be the thing about it. Like, I've never had a vocal thing that people are like, "I love that," but the old music, it does kinda become like, "Okay, but the new music really is, like, a lot better."
Yeah, and I think it's just obviously firsthand. It's just growing as a musician. We get older, and as like even I know we're probably going to go back and forth with Sam on this one because of the Bless stuff. But he was 18 when he started writing that stuff, and
Mhm.
now he's like 34. These guys have kids. They have other projects going on. They have different influences. They hear different music, and it's to me like I'm accepting of that. So I
Mhm.
mean, if they want to write something else, yeah, definitely I'll give it a listen. Sure, do
Mhm.
we want that heavy? You know, almost like deathcore style stuff that they used to do instead of something a little bit
Right.
more lighter. Yeah, of course. But I mean, I respect it as like as a musician standpoint for
For sure.
sure.
I think that their best song, and not only their best song, but one of the best metalcore songs ever written is probably, "Royal Beggars." Like,
Oh yeah,
that
that's a
song
good
is
song.
is crazy. And I don't listen to a lot of their stuff, but that song is, like, inarguable, like, just an extremely well-written song.
Yeah, it's a good one. I think Holy Hell actually got me into like Architects.
Mhm.
And then I listened to Holy Hell, that album, and then I met my girlfriend and found out she's a huge
There
Architects
you
fan, and I was like, "Oh shit, love at first sight." So it's
go.
like I finally found somebody that has like, these metal that's metal music that she actually listens to. So yeah, she introduced me to a lot of Architects, and then me just doing reactions, like I introduced her to like more the deathcore stuff, like The Artist Murder. We're
Yeah.
both like, "Fuck, we wouldn't listen to this." Are we allowed to swear on this?
Yeah, do what you want.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and I mean, that's awesome to share that, same, musical interest with your significant other. My wife
Mhm.
definitely got me into, like, classic rock. I've never listened to anything like that. I've just always pretty much I went from, like, System of a Down and Korn to, like, Annotations of an Autopsy, like, straight to the heavy kinda sludgy stuff, and so,
Oh, right on.
I never really listened to much of any classic stuff, and so classic rock, she's got me a lot more into that, a lot more appreciative of it. But
That's cool.
the thing about classic rock people is I feel like they listen to the same 5 songs, like, over and over again. So it's like, I can only listen to Kashmir by Led Zeppelin so many times, you know?
Right. I
It
mean, I'd never listened to that stuff either, like Led Zeppelin. Like, I know
mm,
these bands. I think we all do. Metallica,
yeah,
even Korn and Slipknot I never listened to
yeah.
before either until getting into this. But my girlfriend listens to like folk music as well. So like she actually took me to a concert in the summer that was like a Swedish folk band. And like I had a great time.
Heck
Like
yeah.
it was just a blast.
Yeah. And I mean, it's always nice hearing the different stuff and hearing the different influences that you can have. Because, like, I mean, like the riff in Kashmir by Led Zeppelin, it could be turned into like a heavy, heavy deathcore riff, like very easily.
Ooh.
And so it's nice to hear how those influences have came, and and
Right.
so, or even we were just listening to Black Sabbath in the car on the way back here, and definitely can hear like those influences. And so it's good to know like where stuff came from. But yeah, I mean, I've kind of always listened to like the most modern version of metal. That's just been my life, and until like recently, I don't really listen to modern like metalcore at all.
Oh,
But
really?
yeah,
Okay.
but that's like because I'm kind of one of the people that is stuck in like the 2010s, and so
I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
yeah, but so you're very much obviously listening to everything that comes out now.
Yeah, and I think that's just more geared towards my YouTube career
Yeah.
and just staying on the latest trends. And, as my audience grows and stuff, then they want my opinion on the latest thing. So obviously, it sucks kind of being that reactor at the same time because, like, I want to enjoy the stuff that I listened to like 3 years ago or so. But,
Mhm.
like, it's like, honestly, I listen to a song once and it's unless it's really stuck in my head and I need to listen to it when I'm driving, then that's the only time I
Yeah,
listen to like music, I feel. So
for sure.
it's tough getting back into the older stuff. But like if I do, like I grew up on punk rock stuff. So like Blink-182, Sum 41,
Yeah.
Simple Plan, Good Charlotte, like that was my jam back in the day. So like that's what I would like rock just on like a good hour drive
Yeah,
kind of thing.
definitely. And so like with this so because I work a lot with Keem as well, and
Hmm.
so we talk a lot about music and everything, and he's obviously listening to a lot of the modern stuff when he has to, quote unquote, for reactions and whatnot.
Yeah.
But so do you find that are you so you're not necessarily listening to that stuff and then going to it after the fact and being like, no, I love that song so much I got to listen to it. You're always in this constant rotation of new crap.
Yeah, I feel like it is a very constant thing. I mean, like I feel like I've stepped back a little bit and still enjoyed the stuff that I did really like the new Devil Wears Prada album has
Yeah.
been a little bit more on repeat for me. I love the route that they took. New August Burns Red that just dropped. It's like, bro, this sounds like old August Burns Red. So like
Hmm.
that's been on loop. If anything, like I'll open up a stream with like the songs that I just really like to hear once in a while and just kind of rock out, get
Yeah.
hyped up for it. But yeah, basically stuck in the realm of new music. But I think that's what's great with the Twitch streams that I do too. So I have people that just come in and show me like some of this old
Yep.
stuff, and sometimes we'll just do like a kind of like what Keem does, like a emo night or
Yeah.
MySpace night. So I think
Definitely.
it's really cool that he does that.
I think Twitch is a good area for stuff like this. Just like I streamed on Twitch for a long time, and I did a lot of music writing streams, but also I did
Mm.
streams where I like played RuneScape and people requested songs and I just sat there and listened, and I found pretty much any band outside of like what I grew up on that I know now is from people suggesting it like while I was streaming. And
Hell yeah.
so it's like it really is nice just getting so many people getting so much new bands coming, but nothing really sticks for me like in a way that like I want to go listen to more of it. I'll go follow someone because I'm like that song was sick, but I don't really go back and listen. I feel like it's one of those things where it's like in the modern world, like whenever you have Steam and you have your 300 games, and so you play like one for 10 minutes and you switch to the next, and then like I feel like in the modern world there's too much music a lot of times.
Yeah, and I think another part of it is like we do music for a living as well.
Mm.
So I mean, maybe it's just something that we just don't really go back to just for that reason as well. It's kind of like I used to detail cars for a living.
Hmm.
I clean cars for a living, but I had the messiest car in the world. So it's like I'm
True.
not fucking doing this because I do this for a living. But
Yeah.
I mean, we need music, and I think it's the way out of our mind some days, and it just helps people literally. So I think it's really cool that music can do that for us, but I guess as us as musicians and content creators, it can be a lot sometimes.
So what do you so currently there's we're kind of in this resurgence of us getting some actually like big bands like popping out. Like and the thing is like these bands that are selling out these massive tours, um if you asked anyone 2 years ago, would these bands be selling out these massive tours? No one would have guessed that they would have been the ones doing it. And so they're
Yeah.
kind of like the bands that are on top right now would have not you wouldn't have thought that 2 years ago. And so, what do you think it is about like Bad Omens or like Lorna Shore or these other bands that are selling out 2,000 cap rooms all over the world? Like, why do you think like what about Bad Omens specifically? Do you think it is that is making them pop off like that?
I mean, I really like Bad Omens. The first song that I really listened to with them was it Dethrone,
Uh,
and I thought it was amazing. So I kind of knew them as like they're heavy, like this is awesome. Can't wait for the next single.
yeah.
And then they kind of trickled out some softer stuff, and I'm like, what happened here? So I had to go back and do a little bit of research on it. But I think one of their songs actually went super viral on TikTok.
Yeah.
And I think that may be another reason. I mean, they're a fantastic band, and I think what's it called? Dayseeker's actually on that tour right
Yeah.
now with them. And I have no idea. I mean, like they got wicked tunes, they got wicked voices. But it might be that whole TikTok blow up thing, which is just social media. But that was like the same with Pierce the Veil.
Mhm.
I don't know if you heard about that, but they were touring with I Prevail. and Pierce the Veil would go on before I Prevail, and everyone fucking left. So like,
Really?
I Prevail is an amazing band, but like they had like not a lot of people to play for. So, and it's
Yeah.
because of those TikTok trends, and people literally just go to see those people. But
Yeah.
for Lorna Shore, oh man, like I think they just came back swinging with just some disgusting breakdowns. I mean, I'm not a super deathcore nerd, so I don't really know a lot of the melodic death metal kind of stuff like that. So when I heard it first, I thought it was great. I didn't like the single string kind
Yeah.
of things, and so when I heard that, the breakdown obviously threw me through a loop. The
Mhm.
snarls obviously was something different, but then everybody else started doing afterwards.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Their album was fantastic. After the first couple songs, I thought it started sounding the same structure breakdowns
Yeah.
kind of deal, and kind of the leads were a little bit melodically the same. But then found out when I listened to the whole album, like this is really cool. It actually matches. It
Mm.
flows very well, and I think they did very well in that aspect. But
Yeah. I
for them
mean,
to sell out, I have no idea, man. That's great for them, but it's nuts. Like literally every show, I think they sold
mhm.
out. No.
Yeah, both of those tours sold out before the tour started, and so that's the thing is like I can understand Bad Omens just because they are a lot more of an accessible style of music.
Hmm.
They're like that very accessible metalcore, basically. Though they're rock, they're a rock band,
Yeah.
and so I can understand that. And the dude's voice is crazy, and they're young, and so it's exciting for older like rock metalcore fans to be excited about a younger band, but then
Yeah.
also getting a younger audience into it. Like they have the image and the sound to make that happen, and so they make a lot of sense.
For
Lorna
sure.
Shore, I think, is an anomaly, just based off of internet hype because they are such an extreme version of metal that you would never guess that they would sell that many tickets.
Exactly.
And so I love it because they're really really good dudes. But it's just it's nice to see that there's potential to do that in an extreme metal, and it has made a lot of people want to experiment with being heavier because seemingly, if you can go so extreme that you become viral, then that's an option for to garner some success, and so they are kind of proof that there's potential in the extreme. But it is definitely like for me, I would never ever in a million years would have guessed it.
Yeah, no, I totally agree, especially for Lorna Shore and everything that they kind of went through, the vocal
Yeah.
changes, the sound change at that even.
Hmm.
But I'm glad they found it. They found their success. I mean, I think a lot of people can say that it is overkill, they are a little overhyped for the band, but I don't know. I think they're fantastic people, fantastic musicians, and I wish them nothing but the best. And I support them. Like I love doing reactions to them.
Oh
But
yeah.
you look at Century Media right now on their label, and you see them now grabbing these heavier bands too.
Oh yeah.
So I can see some stuff happening in that realm
Yep.
of genre metal. So I'm stoked for it.
I
That gets
think
me
it's
excited.
yeah, I think that they are a band that definitely reinvigorated like the industry in heavy music. I think that even like labels like Century Media were definitely going more of like let's go rock, let's go, mainstream like European metal sound, let's do that.
Hmm.
And Lorna Shore with this level of success because the virality of the music has given a lot of people the desire to want to do heavy stuff. And I saw them at So What Fest. It's the first time I've seen them. We toured with them back in like 2014. They opened a tour with us in Rings of Saturn.
Oh,
So
sweet.
it was my first time seeing them since then, and they definitely had the biggest crowd. And then not only that, but I think that they created an environment at this festival to where all the heavy bands on the festival were the ones that everyone was there to see. So it was like normally at a festival like that, a lot of people be waiting for like the mainstay bands and everything,
Hmm.
but because Lorna Shore was there and they have this reinvigoration for heavy music, every single heavy band, no matter how small they were the ones with the biggest crowd. And so I think that Lorna Shore 100% is responsible for a resurgence of like extreme music. It even has me starting up an extreme project too. So it's like
Oh shit.
yeah, super heavy stuff. And so it's just nice to see. It's nice that you don't have to sell out to be able to, have success like this. And so
Yeah.
I love
Yeah,
it.
that's a big thing, the whole sellout kind of
Yeah.
situation. I mean,
Yeah.
we all put Bring Me the Horizon and Architects on that, but I mean, I think you're exactly right. I think this is gonna be amazing.
Yeah. And so what do you think, what would you like to see a band be able to pull off? Like what do you think is if a band came out, how or like I guess what am I trying to say? Like what would you like to see in a band that could blow up? Like what do you think is missing in music right now since you listen to so much modern music? What do you think is missing that would get you like super excited about a band and be like, "No, this is the band."
That's a fucking good question. I don't know. Like, I mean, I guess I kind of see these bands kind of taking off as well. But I've been seeing a lot of support with the label companies that a lot of these bands that are blowing up, like give to like us, like smaller content creators and stuff like
Yeah.
that. So, I mean, it's just got to sound good to my ears. Like, I mean, there's a lot of cool bands that are coming out of these labels, and it's like, man, I hope there's something big that works with them in that. But I think it's just the hard work that these bands put into it. Obviously, I mean, we can't really just say that they need to sound good because there's a lot of small bands out there that they sound amazing, but they're just not doing the
Mhm.
work to get out there.
Yep.
But I mean, there's a lot of bands out there that are taking the time to make the extra content, learning social media. And I think the biggest thing is, and this is where I can kind of attest to just growing my own channel, is just community.
Mhm.
Um, I think there's just a lot of cool ways that you can connect with people in that terms, replying to your comments and that, having these, just a quick
Yep.
conversation with people in the DMs, I think goes a long way. And I've seen it as well. Like for me being a content creator, like I can send a message to Chris Motionless and have a little bit of a conversation with him. And I think that is so cool. I never thought in this day that I would be in that situation or even sitting down with somebody that I listened to back in the day with the Browning. And
Yeah.
it's like, it's crazy to even be here on this podcast with you.
Right.
So
And so you
I
think
think
that bands that can create a community and actually have interaction with their fans would be an important aspect of their growth?
it's definitely one of the important ones for
Mhm.
sure. And just the way you present yourself, I think, as well. I mean, we've seen countless, vocalists in that sense, but like you see some of these bands getting these allegations coming through, and
Mhm.
it's like it gives a bad credit or sorry, a bad vibe with
Yeah.
some of these bands sometimes. So they kind of lose that traction that they have. But
Yeah.
I'm
And
glad
yeah,
they
so
bounce back and take care of all that stuff. But
yeah, and being persistent, and that's one thing that you can 100% say about both Lorna Shore and Bad Omens is that
yeah,
they have been bands that have been very active for a very long time, and so they've stuck to it, and they both stuck to like their grind, but then taken advantage of the moments that they've been able to. Um,
yes,
like for the Browning, like I've had so many moments that I've turned down really good tour opportunities because it wasn't good timing for me, or I've turned, I took a lot of time off because I was having a baby and all this sort of stuff. So there's like missed opportunities in the sense because I have all these other things that I'm doing in my life and things that I want to do that are more of a priority. Whereas and I'm not saying that Lorna Shore or Bad Omens doesn't have other things going on in their life, but they 100% seemingly have taken advantage of every opportunity that they've had to be able to get there. And so
yeah,
persistence, like those bands have been very, very persistent, and then they keep putting out music that keeps like growing the band. And so it's like I think that is a massive thing. You see so many bands, you're like, how did that band like fall off? Like where did they go? They were on top of the
that's
world.
true.
Like what are they doing? And maybe it's because two of the members had kids and they weren't able to tour as much, and then they, that sort of thing. Whereas like these two bands are on top, and same with Dayseeker. Like Dayseeker's been
Yeah.
putting out consistent music nonstop and killing it.
And with going through issues as well. Like, I
Yeah.
don't know if you checked out the new Dayseeker album, but man, Rory
Hmm.
lost his father at the same time of his premature birth of his daughter and everything.
Yeah.
So it's like to do that and then still go on
Hmm.
tour, and it's like it's nuts.
It's
It's
about persistence, and it's about being taking advantage of every opportunity. And so I think that's one of the biggest things bands can have. Like you
yeah.
can have slow moments, but you really do have to take advantage. And so huge respect for those bands for that. And so
Yeah.
a lot of people what you do is a thing that is of the modern world. Reactions are very much a newer phenomenon, I want to say. And so and not only a phenomenon, but also like kind of an essential in the music industry. I view reaction stuff as now pretty much the only marketing that labels need. Because it gets it more of like word of mouth marketing rather than an advertisement. And word of mouth is the kind of marketing you want. And so
Hmm.
reaction channels to me are essentially the modern day of word of mouth, you know? Say that like back in the day before the internet, there was like a really popular dude or a radio host that would play the song and talk about the band and do that sort of
Yeah.
thing. Like that was the older days of reaction channels. But now you're basically creating word of mouth with these people that are hosts on the internet that talk about bands and promote it. And so I think it's probably the most important thing for a label or for anyone to focus on in the music industry to get promotion out there. And so like how did you even come to being doing like reactions full time like this?
How I came about doing it. I mean, I was literally, me and my girlfriend were just kind of like bouncing these black like songs off of each other all the time. Like she lived like an hour away from me, so we actually met on Plenty of Fish, and then started talking, blah blah blah. So like I lived out in the sticks. I'm a country boy out there and have my own house out there. So I just wanted to find new music again. In my past relationship, I didn't really listen to a lot of metal. I was like young, grinding. I didn't care about music. But even in high school, I was that kid that would walk up to you and jam earbuds in your ear and say, "Yo, check out this new band that I found on MySpace," kind of
Right.
thing, and like start air drumming the whole thing, and then make a freaking show out of it. But yeah, I just wanted to get back in the music scene and see what was kind of out there, especially the bands that I grew up with. And you find out these bands have fallen off or they're
Hmm.
not around anymore. You see like Icy Stars and stuff like that, and it's like, okay, that kind of sucks. So where are these other bands? So you could look up their labels, and then I kind of saw a couple of reaction channels myself. I mean, I saw Nick Nocturnal, Alex Hefner. Big inspiration for me at the time was Wyatt Staff,
Hmm.
and just kind of seeing what they did. And like I tried to get my girlfriend to come on board and do it with me too. Like, look at this metal couple over here. We can do this. We have lots to say
Right.
about this. But I just turn on the camera, press record, and just started seeing where it went. And it kind of started off with the what's it called, falling in reverse. So I kind of learned from
Yeah.
there and started learning. And he's not in Escape the Fate anymore. And
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
yeah, I guess that's kind of how it started, and it just kind of blew up from there in a
Hmm.
sense. It's kind of weird how it like kind of took off, but
And so why do
I
you
didn't
think
expect it.
yours took off rather than, because there's a lot of channels out there, like why do you think that yours got the attention?
I have no idea, man. I mean, even when I first started, I think we all can look back at our first videos and they're terrible.
Right.
But I kind of wanted to start it with like this persona of this, far out like Letterkenny Canadian accent reactor,
Yeah.
like let's fucking get into her buzz, like just that Canadian accent.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I look back at it and I cringe, but I don't know what it was, man. I kept making it, and then I just found myself and kind of had like a little bit of a system, I guess.
Yeah.
I forget the word for it, not system, but uh yeah, and it just kind of went with it.
Yep.
I mean, I had a little bit of film background, graphic design background, so that kind of came naturally for me. And my creativity, I just wanted to create something more fun to watch instead of, and no respect to, I mean, I give a lot of respect now to the people that just put the video in the corner and
Hmm.
then react to it and say their things, because the amount of effort and edits I put into my videos is just so time consuming. So the creativity aspect of it, I think, is just what I fall in love with the most.
Yeah.
Making things go with the music and just making it a little bit more of an enjoyable experience for people to listen to music with other
Yeah.
people. So once I started getting messages from people saying, like, your videos really helped me through my day. Like I'm going through a downtime right now, and your videos are just awesome to watch and help me get through it. And I
Yeah.
think that's the main part that I really fell in love with, and just wanted to help people mentally,
Yeah.
especially when we went into COVID. Because, and honestly, I think that was another thing as well that boosted a lot of reaction channels where everyone was at home watching
Definitely.
reactions and finding new music and stuff. So
Yeah,
it could be a
and
combination of
that
everything.
is really when it blew up, and also where a lot of these bands were able to capitalize off of reactions too, because it was pretty much the only outlet you could release your music through, you know?
Yeah, I totally understand that and agree with that. They couldn't play shows or anything, so technically reactions
Right.
were the show type
Yeah.
deal. So
And me from a musician standpoint, like, because a lot of people will look at reactions and they've said like they think reaction is goofy, they think it's weird, like that
yeah,
that anyone cares about it. But like I personally love watching every reaction to all the Brownings music. I think it's important, and it's one reason I actually really like streaming on Twitch. Like Twitch is a necessary thing for me now for writing my music because I've run the past two Browning albums live on Twitch, like the full thing. Everyone,
no,
you could
that's
watch the
cool.
whole thing. Well, I was getting live reactions in the chat to music that I was writing, so I could tell if something I was writing was good enough to go on the record because the
Mm.
fans were literally reacting on the spot as I'm writing it. And so I think that's essential. But then, even after the fact, to be able to go through and watch reaction channels and see the parts they react to, see the parts that like they're vibing with or whatever, then it's like important for a musician, I think, to do that. But then not only if it's not even just your music, but other people's music being reacted to, you can watch these reactors and be like, why do they like this part of Architect song, or why do they like this part? Or you can kind of take advantage of reactions to see the parts that everyone's kind of liking like that. And not only just like the parts where Keem gets up and starts moshing, like that's not, to me, that's not even the most important part of the reaction, like the big
Yeah.
explosion. It's I'm watching like as like the verse is happening and like how are they bobbing their head? Are they
And
just
you can
like
see their eyes kind of shift, like, oh,
yeah,
that was kind of cool.
exactly. And
Yeah.
that's a big thing to me. Like honestly, I wrote songs like the first song that came out on this last record was End of Existence, the title track. And
Mm.
I wrote that song with reaction channels completely in mind because I wanted to catch people off guard like over and over and over again. And so I
That's
wrote
a good way
it
to gauge.
yeah, I wrote it to literally watch these people be like, "What? How did that?" And then, "What?" Like it dropped again. Like I wanted to write music that literally made reaction channels like be confused or be excited because I was catching them off guard. And
That's
so
sick.
it's I think it's important for the modern world to try to have that and then use that to watch or to gauge the reactions. And even like there's people that did full album reviews. I sat here and watched, people hour-long videos just sitting there watching them listen to the Browning. Like I think it's important. And so do you like how do you expand it from there, or are you just like completely happy with this like this kind of content, like you like doing it, or like where do you take it, like in the sense like take it to another level?
I think I'm kind of in that shift of taking it to a different level. Like, I mean, I have ideas, and honestly, when I had these ideas, it was before COVID happened, and COVID got in the way of some of the stuff that I really wanted to do. But
Uh-huh.
sorry, I was looking through my phone to see if I actually threw up a reaction of the Browning, and I don't think I have one. Fuck, and this podcast route.
I don't blame you because we're on Universal, so we're with UMG, so they
Ah, okay, I
they
see.
really screw kind of everyone's stuff. That's a big issue, and so that's another thing with the modern world of not of if you're with a label that doesn't understand the benefit of that
Mhm.
type of thing, like you're not going to have that benefit, and so like a lot of great channels won't react to the Browning because our label won't whitelist people. They won't even whitelist my freaking channel. It's
Yeah.
super annoying, and so it's essential for people like you to be able to put in the effort to gain the money off of the videos that you put effort into.
Yeah, sorry to go back to your other question there.
Yeah.
Sorry, what was it again? It was like what do I see myself
Yeah,
doing
like
more, I guess?
how do you take it up to another level than just being reaction?
I mean, I've been having fun just doing a little bit more content with other creators. Like I've done some stuff with Metal Burb and Matt from Matt and Chelsea Reacts and hardcore. And it was just a lot of fun just to kind of do something different. I mean, I love the vlogging aspect of things. I watch a lot of Casey Neistat videos, so it's like I
Yeah.
love video work so much. That's why I edit the way that I do, just to make it more fun to watch. but like I see myself doing more. Like I want to go to concerts. I want to do like concert vlogs. I want
Yeah.
to I mean Hardcore got the opportunity to go, I think it was High Five Fest, which they just released their lineup for that show, which looks phenomenal. But he got flown out there by the label, and he got, all he had to do was like just film a vlog and his experience. So like that was my original thought of like what I wanted to do. And then now I see, you know, Jonny and Nate kind of doing that as well. They got to do it in Australia
Yeah.
with the Unified concert, or the festival there. So it's like it's really cool to see that, and that's where I wanted to gear my stuff going to, like fly all over the world and like make some fun content, travel the world and talk to some of my favorite artists about music. Like I think that's just cool that it's weird when people ask me like what I do for a living, and I literally tell them like I listen to music for a living. That's
Right.
basically what I do. But it's cool, and I can't wait to see where this goes. I mean, the podcasting is another thing that I kind of want to dibble dabble in and just talk to people. I think it's another thing that's on the horizon. I think YouTube is definitely going to be taking that to another level and be this everything app. Short form content is definitely where my strong point is
Yeah.
right now with getting my name out there. But man, it's just, I'm excited for what it means to be a content creator, and I think everybody should definitely be excited for that, whether you're in a band making music, making short little skits and stuff like that. I think it's a great opportunity to get yourself heard and make more money with what's the word, sponsors and stuff like
Mm-hmm.
that. So
Yeah, definitely. And because that's the thing is your band is you are influential over your audience. And so
yeah,
you can run your band as if it's an influencer and make that same kind of money because you are influential. And so
yeah,
anyone that's influential can make money off of it, you know? And
yep,
so bands have this new opportunity to monetize in the modern world in a way that you never could before. And that's super important because the normal monetization for artists has been completely taken away. And so, with
mm,
no CD sales, and then also most bands aren't touring as much. And so a lot of the monetization needs to be a mindset shift to the modern world to where you can be an influencer online as well as put out music. And I think it's really important for bands to have that mindset shift.
I agree. I definitely agree.
Yeah. And so in what you do, because there might be someone listening to this that is like, okay, I want to try to do a reaction channel, right? Like they think
Yeah,
it would be fun. Um,
it
like
is.
what is the average day of what you do?
Huh, huh. A day in a life with Ohrion.
Yeah.
I mean, my girlfriend doesn't drive or anything, so she works down the road. I wake up in the morning, drive her to work, come back home, let my dog out, get I'm an energy drink fanatic.
Where's the
Sponsor me,
sponsorship?
someone.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
where is it? So like I need my, my energy or pre-workout before I get kind of going, and then I just obviously kind of chill in Discord and see what everybody's up to, see what the latest music is that's coming out. But it's just whatever's kind of like out right then, or what I need to get out, I'll just sit down, record it. And this is being a full-time like creator right now, and then I'll put that stuff out, get it ready to go out as well, whatever's coming
Hmm.
up in the future. But other than that, like Mondays, Monday morning, I'll stream just to catch up on some of the stuff, because I feel like it's hard to get every single video, and especially sit there, do, there's so many layers to my videos in terms of that. I don't just hit record on OBS and then
Yeah.
chop it up. So there's that on that day, and then even Wednesday night I'll be streaming as well, and I'll hang out with the community. We'll rock out. They send me songs, and we do about 40 songs every Wednesday night. And then even Friday I do full album reviews. So usually albums are coming out on Friday, so like, like this week will be like Tala, Disturbed, and
The
I
Browning.
know Nickelback is coming out with one too, but I don't know if I'm doing that one yet.
You got to.
But yeah, I have to now. I mean, the last thing was hilarious. I mean, I think every reactor kind of clickbaited the shit out of
Yeah,
that
definitely.
one, and that's thanks to Nick. But yeah, other than that, like that's basically my day, and then even throughout the week, and I'm usually putting up my reactions for our patrons and stuff like that. And that's the thing, when you say like a lot of these labels don't let us monetize that, it's just another way to monetize your channel a little bit, and if the people really like your content, they want to see your whole album review, they'll, you know, help support and
Yeah.
you know, join your Patreon in that aspect. And I think they should, especially for someone like yourself that's you know, that can't monetize this kind of stuff like other YouTube videos
Yeah.
and stuff like that. So it's very important if you want to support the right people. But yeah, if I like, I think, did I answer your question?
Well, so
I don't know.
the
That's my everyday
like
life kind of deal.
yeah, and so the what you're doing to get your content recorded, you're kind of doubling up on the monetization as well, where like you're, instead of just sitting there in your room recording a video, you're live streaming those videos being recorded. And so then you're taking those live streams and editing it down and all that, or
Yeah, so I mean, like I monetize on a different level, I guess, as well. So like even at good parts where I have like really good reactions and I absolutely love the song, if I have the time, which I've been making more time for because this is just where short form content is going these days.
Mhm.
But I know we were joking around before, like last night, and you're like, no hat, no clothes at all. Like we're talking about the bluff thing today,
Yeah.
and I'm like, okay, cool. And like honestly, like I don't ask people to like buy my stuff. I might say like, hey, we got new shirts and stuff. You want to check it out? Go for it. Like in a normal regular video, but
Yeah.
like on TikTok and that I wear it, and people are just like, where'd you get the hat? Where'd you get that sweater? That's a six.
Yeah.
And then I just tell them, hey, my link tree is right there. So I get a lot of you know, the black stuff that goes out on TikTok and reels and all that, and that helps pay my bills as well. So
Yeah. And
that's
so
kind of what I focus on with even the Twitch stuff. But
mhm,
even that, it's just more hanging out with the people. Like I
definitely.
think it's so cool seeing somebody walk in and be like, yo, you're the guy from TikTok, or like, I love your videos, been watching you for years. I'm like, this is so cool. I didn't think I'd be in that spot.
Definitely. And so, do you feel like you really have it down, or do you think you could be more optimized in how you do it?
Honestly, I mean, I thought I had it right down, to the point of like, you know, thumbnails, titles,
Yeah.
which plays a huge part in the algorithm, like you already know. I guess I didn't. I mean, like I have some cool connections with labels, which I get to work really closely with. Like Sharptone, I think is like one of my favorite labels right now, and how I work with them. And then I just it's right now like I'm making this thing more of a team thing now. So like now I have a couple people that work with me that are starting to, like, I'm just helping them make my videos to help push
Yeah.
my stuff out a little bit more to be out there more consistently. And I have two other channels as well. One's just like one that I kind of throw random stuff on that won't do necessarily what I want it to do on a main channel, or maybe it's
Mhm.
K-pop versus and then my Black Nation one as well, which we showcase literally like that niche down kind of thing for people. It's like we love the bless, so it's like bless reactions we'll throw on there. So now I have a little bit of a team that has helped me with obviously manage my emails first and foremost. I have an impossible time getting to my emails and responding to every single band, or even
Yeah.
saying like, hey, like let's line up a reaction. So I have someone doing that, someone helping with some editing as well right now, and then somebody that's going to be helping me keep my shorts and reels and TikToks more active. So now I see it on a bigger business scale where I could you know, hopefully monetize a lot more and faster to then pay the people that are on here on
Yeah.
my team. And I think I have a big help, and kind of help me realize that is obviously the team, my girlfriend first and foremost. But I've talked to what's his name, Kirk from Charismatic Voice. I
Yeah.
don't know if you know that channel or not. They're huge,
Mhm.
and he's helped me a lot in terms of like how much work goes in the back end of his YouTube business with that. I'm like, holy crap, like they got 10 people working for him. I'm like, for a reaction channel, like what?
Yeah.
Like, so it's cool to see that, and to see the level that it can become. I mean, I'm a very business minded guy, very humble in that aspect too, and very happy I get to do this for a living. But you know, I definitely want to see where I can get this. I like doing this, so
Mhm.
this is what I eat, breathe, and sleep on. So
Yeah. Does that kind of get annoying thinking about algorithms nonstop and like
oh my
is
god.
this thumbnail good enough to get people to click? Like, are you annoyed by
Yeah,
this?
I get annoyed all the time, and I
Yeah.
hate it. And I have some reactor friends like Keem, we've had conversations with all the time, and like Metal Burb,
Yeah.
Hardcore, Tank the Tech, even Nick Nocturnal. I'm like, bro, what am I doing wrong? And he's like, nothing, just keep grinding.
Yeah.
I'm like, fuck, man. I'm like, how many hot dogs do I gotta jam in my mouth to get people to fucking click?
Definitely.
So, and that's all in fun, and I love making people smile for that reason. And I didn't hear that song at all, but it was just cool. Like the whole thing with that is, it was called Slaughterhouse. Motionless in White puts up this thing of hot dogs in their teaser. So I'm like, all right, let's go get some hot dogs. I heard there's gonna be a blech in this. Fucking have fun with it, and just went crazy on it.
Yeah. And I mean, it really is just a perpetual grind, because even like if you can get the growth, then it's like, okay, well, how do we keep like going, And so it's like this perpetual, like having to figure out how the internet's shifting, how the algorithm's shifting, how all of this stuff is shifting to be able to take advantage of it, And it's like, it can be exhausting. And so do you think like it's something like I said, I talked to Keem a lot, and we're trying to figure out certain aspects of like, where does what's the career trajectory of this type of person, the person that does this type of content, and like what's the career trajectory go to? And I mean, has working for a record label and like a PR has that been something you've considered being possible?
I don't know what that would look like. I mean, like being contracted to do stuff for them, I think I would obviously be very open for.
Yeah.
I feel like I kind of maybe already do that a little bit, and kind of dibble dabbled in it with Sharp Tone.
Yeah.
Because they've hit me up for special promos and like, hey, do you leak the new Gloom in the Corner album for like the first 4 hours type deal? Like, you're the only one that's gonna have it out there. So it's like cool stuff like that to kind of like, I don't know, see what works, obviously. And it did, and it got like a lot of views on it, and people were stoked that Rio was on a track, and this was before he stepped down from Crystal Lake. But it's just, it'd be cool. Like, I honestly want to do more stuff like that. I would love to work with labels where it's like, they either send me to a show or a festival for a weekend and do some content for that. I think that would be like the trajectory of.
But I even think that beyond just being like, hey, like I am Ohrion Reacts and I partner with this label and stuff, but more so you specifically are the PR manager of a record label. Like I feel like something like that would make sense, because people like you understand like what needs to be done for the artist level on the internet, to where like I feel like people like you could straight up like work in the industry, like you work at the record label to show bands and show the label how to properly push their stuff in the modern world. Because I work with a lot of PR companies like over the years with the Browning, and every single time, like every album, we get together with the PR team and we're just like, okay, so what do we want to do to try to push this? And it's all still like so old school. Like a lot of these labels are so behind on what they need to be doing with this music, whereas people like you or Keem or Nick or anyone knows actually what needs to happen to promote this music, because you are just promoting bands' music just through your outlet. So it's like, even if it's not just through your outlet, you still know what these bands should be doing in the modern world. So I feel like people like y'all would be the perfect people to take over PR at record labels in the modern world.
That's a good point, actually. I've never really thought of it that way. I mean, I've never been in a band long enough where I've talked to like PR or like even know that kind of world. So the only thing I really know of that, and kind of what I'm dibble dabbling into now, is just I have to connect with PR agents that are representing that band. So it's like, I'm like, oh, I can't just go to the label and say, hey, I want to do a podcast with Caleb from Beartooth. Like, no, you have to go through their PR agent. I'm like, oh my God, there's so many more steps that I didn't even know about. So it's I think it'd be really cool. I mean, if I had my channel at a level where it was kind of running itself in the background, where I had somebody editing my videos, where literally I just got to be on camera, and then I could focus on that, then I think that could definitely be an option for sure. I think it'd be a smart idea. Like you said, I think we have what it takes and what we know that's working in the real world right now, where a lot of these older minded labels are kind of stuck in their own ways.
100%. I think, because I think that the industry in general needs a modernization of everything. I think that every contract should be mandatory renegotiated for the modern world. I think that a lot of the people need to be gouged out and a lot of new people need to be put in, and I think it's I think
Our
that there's
government system. Sorry.
I mean, kind of, it's a similar thing where there's a lot of these old
Yeah.
heads that have been in there a long time, and the modern world is like, dude, you need to change, and they're like, no, because we're in here until we die, you know. And so
Yeah.
I
I,
feel
I
like it's the same sort of deal.
I hate like pinning on this label company, but I think they're pretty in their own head too. But Roadrunner
Mm,
Records is very stuck in their ways. They're still blocking videos left, right, and
yeah.
center, and it's like,
Well, it's the same with
man,
Universal. Like, I mean,
yeah.
I'm on a label that's a subsidiary of Universal, and I also don't give a crap. I'll say anything on here, and it's
I'm
so.
glad you had the power to do that too. Like you're not limited to what you have to say or
I
anything.
mean, they probably wouldn't be happy about it, but I don't care. And so, but
Drop me. I'll go on my own. No, I'm kidding.
and so it is annoying to be in a modern world where it's like, okay, this band has been my thing since I was 14 years old. I started this on
Yeah.
MySpace. It's a solo project. I've written the music myself forever. And
That's
I
crazy.
can't even get on Twitch and play the guitar of one of my songs without the VOD being muted, you know? So like I can't
'Cause it
even
picks it up.
yeah, I
Yeah.
can't do any of that stuff. If I stream the Browning music on Facebook, the stream will immediately get taken down, you know?
That's why I don't do it on YouTube because it
Yeah,
does the same thing on there.
exactly. And so it's like, how behind in the times do you have to be to understand that like I was a full-time internet content creator for like 5 years. And how behind in times do you have to be to not understand that I need to have access to my own music
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
push it.
Yeah. I
And
made this. Why can't I have it on my stream?
exactly. And so it's like there are labels that are so behind to where people like you or people that have like people like me, musicians that have been so online for so long that understand this crap that need to be running like these things for the modern world. I think it's essential. And also
Yeah.
I think contracts too are so out of date. It's mind blowing. Um just all of it needs a re-updating. And
Yeah.
there's some labels that are doing it right. Not necessarily in the metalcore world, in my opinion, but maybe we'll get there one day. I think it's inevitably going to be essential that these labels modernize because the ones that do are going to take over.
Honestly, I think it is changing, and I'm one to really watch videos on what's happening with other social media companies and
Yeah,
like
for sure.
how many changes YouTube is making right now. And for one, I think TikTok has kind of already started that. And I think it's waking up these label companies that are saying, oh shit, Pierce Avail's got this like all this basically a sound that you can use that made them viral.
Hmm.
Why aren't we doing this with other platforms? So now we see YouTube is apparently talking to all these other label companies to then start letting them, like content creators like us, monetize to a degree and still pay the label a certain
Yeah.
amount. So I think there's going to be that automatic switch, and at least in YouTube right now. But yeah, like I know the UMG is kind of bad for that. Every video that I do literally gets blocked, and it sucks. Even shorts and stuff will get blocked
Yeah.
sometimes. I'm like, man. I mean, when you have a good relationship with them, and obviously like Century Media is good, I'll still get some blocks. But I'll say, hey, look, Lorna Shore got blocked. Nobody knows why this happens. If you have the answer, please tell me, because I lose sleep over this, and I know a lot of other people out there do too. But I'll email them, and they'll just they'll get it whitelisted for
Hmm.
me and get it to go up. So
Yeah.
I think we're in that switch soon.
And that's one thing that my label said to me was, well, once you upload the video, send us the video and then we'll send it to Universal and then we'll try to get them to whitelist it. I'm like, yeah, so if I'm trying to upload 3 times a week and you guys take a week and a half to respond to an email, like what do you want me to do? Like and so it's
Yeah.
but again, if there was a modern label that was ready for that crap, then, you know, it'd be a lot more optimized.
Yeah, I think it's also a little sketchy too. Sometimes it depends on the label. I'm not gonna say what labels, but I know a lot of content creators that might be listening to all of this. They know these ones as well, but they'll tell you to what's it called, dispute it,
Mhm.
and then send in the thing. So what they'll do is they'll actually they let it sit for a 5-day thing under dispute. They have 30 days to basically say yes or no. They'll go in their publisher or something and they'll say no, and then they whitelist it. So they just took all your ad
Exactly.
revenue like that. And it's
Yeah.
like,
because all the money you're making is within the first day or two of the video being out. Yeah,
Exactly. Unless it's a viral video that takes off like baby metal or something like
right.
that, which you will not get monetized. Like it's crazy.
Right. Yeah, but I mean, it's really cool in the modern world to be able to take advantage of this stuff. I mean, even
Yeah.
like with me getting the house and this whole office set up, I'm gonna start doing like vocal content online and everything.
I've been seeing that already too with
Yeah,
your
and
TikToks.
I was so surprised. I never pushed any of my personal profiles. I was always just focused on the Brownings profiles. That's all I ever cared
Mhm.
about. So like Instagram, I was only at like 5,700 followers just because I've never pushed it, never cared. I didn't even post on there for like 5 years. And I post a video of me doing Waking the Cadaver, and it got on Instagram, it's like 80,000 views right now on that reel. And to have that kind of access with that little amount of followers, and I've gone up like 250 followers on Instagram from one video. And
Holy
so
shit.
like to have like looking at it from like a starting band perspective. Like if you're starting a band, there's no better time than right now to get that kind of reach. Like Keem, he just had his first reel on Instagram hit like a million streams.
I was literally just talking to him last week about this. I'm like, bro, what do I have to smash in my background to get the views you're getting on Reels?
Right.
He's like, man, he's like, just one day it just clicked and he's getting like 30,
Mhm.
80, 100,000, 300, 400. I'm like,
Yep.
he's got like almost like 100,000 followers on Instagram. I'm like, holy
Yep.
shit. I'm like, I don't know if that was because of your Disney career or what, because I didn't really know him back
Right.
then, like until the reactions. But I joke around about that all the time. But
Yeah.
yeah, but it's the same thing with me on TikTok. Like my TikTok, I have 180,
60, something like that.
170 something
Yeah.
almost. And I have one video that hit a mil, three of them that hit like 8 to 900,000, and it's blows my
Yep.
mind apart. So if I could give any advice to anyone, like you already said, get the fuck on TikTok and start. It's video content. It's shorts. It's
Yeah.
the short form content that you can hook somebody in that's going to be addicted to it. The algorithm has changed so much. I just see a big shift in content
Yeah.
creator status and everything. I think if you're slow on that part, you're gonna miss the boat.
For sure. And like I'm saying, I'm have like 5,000 followers on Instagram, have something that got 70, 80,000 views on like the third video I ever posted like this. And like if you're a new band starting, like if you just have the mindset of like I'm going to have my music be influential and be an influencer in this realm, like you have the ability to grow like never before and to get that kind of reach and to work with people
I've
like you
seen
or
it.
Keem. It's just like it's so easy to make happen. Whereas like before, to grow your band, you had to tour for an entire year straight, like no time off. Like now
Oh
you
wow.
can grow like this sitting at home, and then you can go play some shows and take advantage of it rather than that being the growing mechanism. So I think the modern world is much better for small artists. Like probably the best
Yeah.
position small artists have ever been in, ever. Like
Yeah,
you have the
I've been
options.
seeing it.
Yeah.
I've been seeing it like crazy. Even like doing like hopping on the latest trends, like the Motionless in White one, like a great marketing piece for Motionless in White, but that they literally cut out the one sound piece of Masterpiece, and it's like, okay, everybody on TikTok, fuck around with this. And then they're screaming, and then their videos go viral, and then they're getting spotted by this.
Yep.
I've already seen a couple of bands that I've done reactions with as well already get signed because of a couple TikToks that blew up.
Yep.
It's
Exactly.
insane.
Yeah, so the music industry is in a really, really good spot for new artists. And also, it's becoming common knowledge that the artists can be independent and do this stuff
Mhm.
rather than having to sign. And so, I'm really hopeful for like young up and coming bands that bands are going to be able to be bigger than ever while having more control than ever as well.
Yeah, I'm excited, man. I'm so excited. Even as a content creator, I'm just like I'm excited for all these bands that deserve the work that they put into their
Yeah.
stuff. I mean, we all know there's that one or two bands that's like you didn't put the work in. Like
That happens.
I've
Yeah.
been grinding on since MySpace. I
Mhm.
feel like
Yeah, and I think that there's a bonus to the old school growth. Like I think that a lot of the bands that have been around for a long time, they have generated like these really long-term fans, whereas like if you do blow up on TikTok, you might have some hype, but it might not be long-term hype, you know? And so there's a bonus to like each growth style for sure. Yo,
There we go. Shit.
sorry.
Did you get hit by a hurricane or something?
I think so. No, see, we were talking about the powers that be, and my label shut down my internet.
Like, they're like, we're not letting you talk shit.
Yeah, I don't remember exactly what we were talking about, but I just think that the modern world is set up really nice for bands, and even people like me. Like I'm a old school vocalist. I've been doing this for a long time. But I have the ability to kind of have a resurgence of myself as like a modern vocalist in the world because of things like TikTok and Instagram and all of that. And so it's nice to for even someone like me that's been doing this so long to still be able to be relevant in the modern world because taking advantage of people like you or Keem or Nick, but then also on a personal level with my own influence. So I think that there's a lot of hope for the metal world and for everything because of channels like yours. And so I think it's super important. Anyone that thinks that reaction channels are weird, it's like, yeah, well, it's not for you, but there's a lot of people that really enjoy seeing someone enjoy something.
Yeah, I mean, like our numbers obviously show that as well. Like even looking at people like Nick
Hmm.
and the views that he gets on just all these reactions too, and it's like, yeah, there is an audience out for it for sure. People care about it. It's just the way our world is.
Yeah,
People care about what other people think at the same time too, and people like to criticize. I mean, there's a lot of angry people out there, and maybe they do like the video to a degree, but something's just going on in their head that they have to shit on you for it, and it's like, no, these are stupid, and it's just that guy's having a real tough day, kind of
definitely.
thing.
Do
So
you have ones that you record and then you're like, I wasn't really into that, so I'm just not going to upload
yeah, I mean, I think that's where Twitch definitely helps as well. When a lot of bands or even just people that hang out with me and they show me some bands, there's like, I'm like, it was all right. It's nothing I would post, but hey, I'm like, it was a decent song. Or like even bands that that want me to react and throw my reaction up on the channel. Like obviously, Twitch is a good way for that, just to kind of screen first before I agree to put it up for
it.
you. But if it's a real banger, it's like I feel good about posting that. And I think with our influences and everything too, and I think I just think it's a really good time to post those kind of things to help bands just get heard. I mean, like
Yeah,
we already talked about already, is that this is just a new form of marketing. So
definitely. Yeah, and I think it's beautiful. I think that it's perfect for the position that the internet is in and bands and exactly what bands need to be able to be independent. That's the hardest thing is like
mm,
why how can I be independent whenever I need this label's PR team to push it? So you don't. You can just message this fool on Instagram, you know?
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like you don't need it. You really don't.
No.
And yeah, I love to see it, and I like to see people's perspective of different sides of the industry and where they work. And like I said, I think people like you guys should be working your way into being actually in the industry, not just a tool that the industry can use, but actually people that are in there. I think that that's where this should go. From my perspective and working in the industry for so long, I would rather you guys working in it than anyone they have currently. So,
That's a big up, and then like a big like a what's the word I'm looking for? Appreciated for that kind of comment. I just think it's really nice to hear. And I mean, I think a lot of us even think like we didn't think we'd be that important to the metal scene or even in any kind of genre. There's a lot of other
mhm,
reaction channels that are out there. I mean, like
definitely.
I guess you can't really do that if you're doing a just for or try not to laugh challenges for those kind of reactions. But
Right.
yeah, I think it's very important. I think we do have a really good sense of where we're going. And I think even the people that are watching your channels too, I think that still determines your view and like how you kind of present yourself as well, because like I mean there's smaller and up and coming reaction channels that I actually really like, that I think that should be really much bigger,
Mhm.
and they have way more to say and put way more work into this as well. But like who's to say like I'm the right fit to say this band should be blown up to exactly where they
Uh,
need to be, like Lorna Shore. So I think it's hard to even look at someone else's perspective, to look at my channel to be like, yeah, who is this chump to say that, you know, this song is actually good, kind of thing. So.
Right. Well, if people trust your opinion, you have the I don't know what the term. I'm sure there's some sort of cool term I could say, but
relatability, I guess.
Well, the people are there with you, so it's like the community has chosen that your opinion is important.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, it's cool. It's just weird to think that in this kind of world, especially like with PR talk. I think it's neat. So
yeah,
it puts a really good perspective on mine, because I don't know that world. So coming from you as someone that's been in this for years, that's really cool to hear, and definitely something I haven't really looked at in that light. So I would definitely like to see it going that way, if there was room for it. So
I'll tell you what they say about it's about who you know, right? So you know, we're here talking, so maybe we can figure out some stuff. You know,
I know Jonny now.
Yeah, there we go. He's never reacted to it. He doesn't even like the new Browning stuff.
I know,
but
I didn't even react. I had to look too. I'm like, what a fucking who is this guy?
You don't have to like my music for us to be friends, so we're good.
Dude, one song that I really love by you though is the one with Jake Hill in it.
Carnage.
Me and my girlfriend are like huge like Jake Hill fans, and I don't know if you listen to his new album, but he has one dirty, nasty track, and it's so good.
Well, he's got to do one to keep the old school fans happy. But
hell yeah,
And
no, I did listen to it. I know I have a reaction somewhere. I just don't know where it is.
Yeah, I bet you did, and I bet
I
bet you did. But yeah, I think that I appreciate talking to you, and there's a lot of people that I think should try to get into stuff that you guys are doing with this to promote music properly. So you know, I appreciate you guys.
Yeah, no, thank you. It's cool hearing it from other artists and stuff. I mean, like it's cool hearing it from even the big guys and even the little guys. I get messages all the time, like even TikToks that blow up that even get 100,000. They're like, dude, our Spotify playlist like went through the fucking roof. He's like, those people actually went to go find our music and is playing it.
Well, we looked we were looking at one of Keem's he had one of his things like total between Instagram and TikTok. He got like 1.8 million between the two. Ooh. And that band went from 100 monthly listeners to like 25,000 on Spotify.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's significant. Like, and that's what I'm saying. Like, labels that pick up a new band would pay an enormous amount of money to get a band from 0 to 25K, you know, on Spotify. And so like you're talking about like one video having the potential to do that is like, that's what I'm saying. I think that this is something that labels need to be paying more attention to. Maybe we just all need to start our own label, just completely modernized.
Man, I've totally thought about that too. Like, I think that would be a really neat thing for sure.
Just starting it
YouTube
and
label,
doing it in like the proper modern way. Like literally every decision that's made is based off of the modern world of music. Like the contracts
how that would actually turn out.
Well, they say it's all about who you know. And so we'll see what we can do.
All right, well, let's go get some of those people.
Sweet. Well, appreciate talking to you, Ohrion, and I think we'll be talking a lot.
We haven't, but dude, I appreciate you just having me on and saying what's up, and glad I could you know, share my thoughts and opinions. I mean, that's what I do for a living on music, but I'm glad I could do that here on your podcast, and it's been a pleasure, man. Thank you so much for having me.
Heck yeah. Well, I will talk to you here soon.
All right, toodaloo.
Bye. Thank you for listening all the way through that episode. And don't forget, head over to burnthisworld.com and click Become a Member. For only $3 a month or $30 for an entire year, you get a bunch of exclusive content and you help support the podcast being a full-time thing. Thank you so much. We'll see you in the next one. Peace.